morning, distinguished conferees, our specially invited guests. You are welcome to the 4th Annual Criminal Law Review Conference presented by the Rule of Law Development Foundation, where we are going to be expending a whole week looking at judicial updates and legislative developments in criminal law, criminal procedure, criminal policy, and evidence. We have for you a large array of various resource persons who will be looking into topical issues affecting not just criminal procedure, but also substantive law, the law of evidence. And we're also looking at social justice and allied matters around the criminal justice sector, especially violence against persons. Permit me to, at this stage, invite the conference director, who is no other person than Chinelo Ogbozo Anarodo, Esquire, to welcome us to this conference. Please, let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency Aminu Waziru Tambuwal, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, Mutawal and Sokoto, the judges here present, the Coordinator Rule of Law Development Foundation, and my amiable boss, Mr. Joseph Bodunri Daudu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Distinguished Senator Gabriel Suswam, ably represented by Mr. Paul Harris, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Learned Senior Advocates of Nigeria here present, colleagues, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you all. It is my utmost privilege to welcome you to the 4th edition of the Annual Criminal Law Review Conference 2021. This conference is an annual forum organized by annually convenes experts and stakeholders in the legal profession to review emergent issues in Nigeria's jurisprudential, judicial, statutory, evidential, and institutional framework for criminal justice. Our review takes its basis from the legislative developments and notable pronouncements of the various courts in Nigeria. We believe that a forum like this will strengthen legal practice and the administration of justice in Nigeria. This year, we will be reviewing developments in the last 12 months with a strong focus on substantive criminal law, criminal procedure law, evidence, forfeiture proceedings, and related matters. This year's event is instructive, given the various issues that have generated heated debates on the activities of state actors within the criminal justice system. The freezing of bank accounts of cryptocurrency dealers, the invasions of citizens' privacies by agents of office and officers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the raiding of official residence of a sitting Supreme Court justice, all demonstrate the inherent value of this forum. Equally, the activities of bandits that are now morphing into terrorists are audacious spokespeople for review of the system of criminal justice in Nigeria. Look to find those possible legal solutions to support the government's fight against banditry. It is for issues such as these that we convene today. Our nation will benefit from this forum. Interrogating emergent pronouncements ensures that miscarriage of justice does not become a norm. It is an opportunity to renew the trust in Nigeria's legal system and ensure that citizens decreasingly seek extrajudicial means to settle disputes. Through this conference, prosecution and defense attorneys will gain first-hand experience of recent innovations in legal practice and its implication for their job, clients, and the state. These are some of our responsibilities as practitioners and custodians of the Nigerian legal system. This year's event will interrogate over 70 pronouncements and judicial rulings delivered and reported within the last 12 months. Thus, we are set for a week-long debate that will strengthen our judicial system, expand the legal profession's knowledge base, and ensure that we can reward the time and resources you invest in us with deeper knowledge, insights, and answers. We at the Rule of Law Development Foundation believe that discussions in this forum will challenge crime-fighting agencies to seek out innovative techniques that can be included in legislation to aid their work. This conference will expand the research base of members of the academia, encourage communication and intellectual brainstorming among scholars. It will provide participants with a platform to grow their understanding of relevant developments in criminal law and ensure they are informed of the current position of the law in a dynamic criminal law landscape. We also want to make this a networking space, encouraging professional collaboration among peers and compatriots. For government actors and representatives of various state-led agencies, this will serve as a viable platform to expand on the rationale behind specific policy actions. Likewise, civil society will immensely benefit from the conversations in this forum to deepen their activities and activism. For instance, tomorrow, the 23rd of November 2022, this forum presents a beautiful opportunity to interrogate seeming criminalization of the freedom of expression and the findings of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on Victims of Police Brutality, also known as the NSANS panel in Lagos State. Law students are not left out. In this forum, we have robust representation of the academia from the Nigerian Law School, who we believe will deliver the lessons from this conference to their constituency. Furthermore, this conference is worth 15 Council of Legal Education CLE hours. In addition, attendees will be automatically enrolled as members of the Association of Nigeria Criminal Law Jurists. Membership of this prestigious body ensures limitless access, learning, training, and enlightenment sessions, especially on criminal law and administration of criminal justice. Between now and Friday, we expect that contributions here will include recommendations for far-reaching iterations and change of laws, regulations, and legislations that guide the administration of justice. This is our own way of contributing to Nigeria's growth and ensuring its longevity. On behalf of the Chairman, the Board of Trustees, management and staff of the Rule of Law Development Foundation, I welcome you all and urge you to stay with us. Thank you.
Let's give Chinelo another round of applause. She has walked around the clock to ensure that we have this. Now, it is time for me to move to the next item on the program, which is to invite the coordinator of the Rule of Law Development Foundation, who is no other person than J.B. Daudu, SAN, to give his opening remarks to set the tone for this conference. Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
I'd like to welcome all conferees and particularly rely on the protocol ably set by the Director of Conference Planning, Mrs. Chinelo Ogozo Anaradu. I must step down my opening remarks because our keynote speaker, His Excellency, the indefatigable and enigmatic Governor of Sokoto State, a man of impeccable credentials, the Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, Mutawalin Sokoto, is hard-pressed for time because of the current security issues. He has certain visits to undertake at this point in time. Consequently, His Excellency has agreed out of his very busy schedule to address us at this point in time. So may I seize this opportunity, and you can see His Excellency on the screen. Frank Idede, you're welcome. You can see His Excellency on the screen. May I invite him to present his keynote address.
Thank you very much, my dear President and great leader of all times, in whom we are very much well pleased. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, other very distinguished, eminent legal minds that are with us in this hybrid presentation, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. No thanks for the many loss of lives and general hardships occasioned by COVID-19 on our lives. But you see, in every situation of misfortune, there can be opportunities. If not for the COVID-19, I perhaps couldn't have been able to participate at this all-important fourth conference on criminal law review by the Rule of Law Development Foundation, in view of the challenges we are facing here in Sokoto, which constrained me not to be physically with you this morning. So Mr. Coordinator and the rest members of this very important platform, I must thank you so very much for finding me worthy of invitation to give this keynote address at this fourth conference on the rule of law by this foundation. I'm indeed delighted to be with my learned colleagues this morning to share my thoughts on challenges associated with criminal justice delivery, especially in the light of the triple menace of terrorism, banditry, and insurgency. I thank the founder and members of the Rule of Law Development Foundation for inviting me to deliver the keynote address. I commend you for choosing the theme, Updates and Developments within the last struggle on the administration of criminal justice in Nigeria. This is apt. Indeed, so much has happened. Nigeria has been in an emergency situation for the past 12 months. COVID-19 and insecurity have held us by the jugular in the past 12 months. Non-state actors have been competing for space and supremacy for state authorities. Our security agencies have been making strenuous efforts to degrade and checkmate the criminal elements. The criminal justice system has been tasked to no end. It is coping well or unable to face the challenges. It is coping well or unable to face the challenges thrown up by terrorism, banditry, insurgency, and kidnapping. The criminal justice system. To ensure a stable, secure, and democratic society, we must put in place an efficient criminal justice system. Chukwuduke Nwosu, in his paper entitled The Criminal Justice System and the Powers of a Magistrate to Grant Bail or Remand in Capital Offences, the video scenario, put it more succinctly, and I quote, the criminal justice system is an essential part of any civilized nation to ensure justice, fairness, the practice of the rule of law, and the institutionalization justice system is comprising of many bodies, groups, institutions, or agencies have been charged with responsibilities for ensuring social agreement and mass compliance with the law and deciding whether or not an individual is guilty of violating the law of the society and the appropriate punishment to be meted to such an individual. End of quote. Our criminal justice system, however, remains a work in progress. We have been grappling with challenges associated with criminal justice delivery due to the inefficiency of the system in dealing with emerging issues like terrorism, banditry, insurgency, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality. Trials take embarrassingly long time to be concluded. Victims hardly get justice, and chances of closure are therefore remote. Adequate assurances and protection are not given to key witnesses to ensure that they give testimonies. This is disheartening because the Administration of Criminal Justice Act has clear provisions which, if properly implemented, will speed up trials and ensure justice for victims. From Professor Yemi Akese George, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, in his paper titled An Overview of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, identified key provisions that, if implemented, will enhance speedy justice delivery. The Act, in Section 396, makes provision for day-to-day trial of criminal cases. If day-to-day trial is not possible, parties shall only be entitled to 5 adjustments from arraignment to the conclusion of the case. The interval between each adjournment must not exceed 14 days. If it is not possible to conclude a criminal proceeding after the parties have exhausted their 5 adjournments each, the interval between one adjournment to another shall not exceed 7 days. To discourage frivolous adjournments, the court awards costs. The Administration of Justice Act in Section 306 and 396 abolish stay of proceedings and interlocutory appeals by merging all preliminary objections to the substantive case in respect of criminal cases instituted in federal courts. The rising insecurity in Nigeria and government's responsibility to protect the people. Security envisages a situation where measures are taken to protect the lives, to live their normal lives in tranquility and safety without undue interference, threats, or harm. Security is theirs, protection against all forms of harm with respect to the physical, economic, psychological, and the being of people in a given environment. Security also says in its fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, Section 14, subsection 2, Indeed, the Constitution says in section 51, the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principle of democracy and social justice. So too, it is hereby accordingly declared that A. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government through this Constitution derives all its powers of authority. The security and welfare B. The security and welfare of the people shall be primary purpose of government. And C. The participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. Insecurity in Nigeria has worsened the living conditions of the people. Food insecurity looms. Local economies are threatened. Social interaction has become difficult due to reduction in movement because of the fear of criminal elements. Government at federal and state levels are struggling to fulfill the primary purpose of government, which is the security and welfare of the people. Factors responsible for security challenges in Nigeria. The security situation in virtually all parts of Nigeria poses a great challenge to policymakers. It's perhaps an understatement. The reasons are many. 1. Government failure or collapse of governmental institutions. 2. Feeling of inequalities, marginalization, unfairness, and injustice. 3. Ethnic prejudices. 4. Religious conflicts. 5. Weak or inadequate security system. 6. Lack of appropriate equipment and technology to fight insurgency and crime. 7. Weak intelligence and gathering mechanism. 8. Loss of Nigeria's value system and weakening of traditional authorities. 9. Corruption. 10. Porous borders, including the fallout of the ECOWAS Treaty and freedom of movement of persons. 11. Harder farmers' conflicts. 12. Rural-urban drift. 13. Cattle rustling. 14. Unemployment and poverty. 15. Lack of access to education, healthcare, and welfare. 16. Inequitable distribution of resources. 17. Ransom payments for terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. 18. Civil wars in neighboring countries like Libya, Congo, and the rest of them. 19. Influence of foreign terrorist groups like ISIS, ISWAP, Al-Qaeda, etc. 20. Lack of good governance. 21. Weak and inept leadership unable to unite the country for common purpose. 22. Parochial worldview. 23. Economic challenges as a result of hostile business environment, weak foreign direct investment, and fear of harm to personnel of businesses and foreign companies, and weak productive base of the economy. 24. Terrorism financing. Solutions to security challenges. Allow me to share with you some solutions I personally feel can help resolve our security challenges. 1. Appropriate leadership. This is one of the most crucial requirements for vanquishing insecurity in our land. Chino Achebe, in his seminar work, The Trouble with Nigeria, says, I quote, "The trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership." End of quote. There is nothing, again, I quote again, basically wrong with the Nigerian character. The Nigerian problem is the unwillingness or inability of its leaders to rise to the responsibility to the challenge of personal example, which are the hallmarks of true leadership, he concluded. Nigeria needs a leader that is versatile, one that has friends and associates across the length and breadth of this country. A leader with a broad world view and not a parochial and provincial politician. We need an incorruptible leader who understands that the best way to fight corruption is by personal examples and also by the building of strong institutions that can withstand shocks and manipulation. Nigeria needs a leader in tune with the times who is reasonably aware of the modern demands of technology in solving societal problems. Yes, Nigeria needs a big leader, a compassionate leader, sensitive to the needs and aspirations of the poor and needy. A leader whose words count and can be counted on. Indeed, a leader with courage, an accountable leader who can be trusted to face the challenges of nationhood squarely without sentiment or pandering to interests that are inconsistent with national goals. A visionary leader imbued with a sense of patriotism will go a long way in changing the narrative of insecurity in Nigeria. A leadership that is nationalistic and not tribalistic. A leadership that promotes national unity and not disunity. A leader required by Nigeria is one that will regard Nigeria as its constituency, not its state, tribe, religion, or region. A leadership that inspires the nation to achieve greatness. A leadership that galvanizes, mobilizes, and directs Nigerians on the path of sustainable peace, progress, and development. Such a leader will not regard any part of the country as a conquered people. A leader with these qualities will reach out to all and sundry and ensure that insecurity affecting the country is put to flight. There is no shortcut or magic, one, to curtail insecurity other than the deployment of relevant tools of good governance, proper technology, necessary military and police equipment, a well-trained and properly remunerated manpower, and lowering of tensions in the country through enthronement of a government that serves all and not a section and group. A leader smart enough to realize the imperatives of restructuring our security and governance structure. Finding such a leader is a task for all, and I challenge you all today to find and support such a leader in 2023 so that Nigeria can begin the long walk back to peace, security, and prosperity for all our citizens. Good governance is yet another major pressure for curbing insecurity in Nigeria. This requires that government at all levels must take deliberate steps to ensure good governance and accountable governance that focuses on the people on the needs of the people. Socio-economic development factor is also key to peace and security. Examples and researches have shown that with good governance and strong institutions, most people are less likely to become enemies of the state or embrace crime when they can see development and opportunities. Elimination of corruption and entrenchment of social and economic justice is yet another. Corruption gives rise to both social and economic problems. It is one of the major causes of inequality and inequitable distribution of wealth among the people. This leads to disaffection, dissatisfaction, frustration, and consequently agitation that lead to insecurity. The war against corruption must be fought with various tools. It must be comprehensive. An ethical revolution involving fundamental shifts in our value system is also absolutely necessary to scale our country. A situation where ill-gotten wealth is celebrated by society leads to a culture of desperation and winning at all costs. This may lead the youth, in particular, to crime, such as kidnapping, banditry, armed robbery, cyber crimes, and the like. A change in value system that rewards hard work, honesty, diligence, and trustworthiness will lead to a better and crime-free society. The role of the government. To overcome insecurity, there is need for intelligence gathering and surveillance so that law enforcement agents could be proactive and reasonably predict potential crime with near perfect accuracy rather than being reactive. The menace of insecurity, no doubt, calls for a new approach that will be founded on credible intelligence gathering. Government must not only continue to improve the performance of security personnel, it must more than ever before recognize the need to devote more attention to security intelligence capacity building to meet global best practices. There is also the need to modernize the security agencies with training, intelligence sharing, advanced technology, logistics, motivation, and change of orientation by security personnel. This effort will enhance the operational capabilities of Nigerian security agencies, enabling them to respond appropriately to internal security challenges and other threats. In addition, there should be a complete overhaul of the security institutions in the country to reflect international standards of best practices and that aims at preempting these security breaches. There should be an institutionalized approach rather than the episodic and reactive response adopted by the government in aftermath of attacks. Synergy among law enforcement of the role and the role of the judiciary. The need for security coordination and cooperation across and among security agencies is of paramount importance. Furthermore, the prosecuting agencies of state and the judiciary must prioritize issues of national security. Prosecutorial malpractice, incompetence, and inordinate delay in prosecution and adjudication weaken the fight against crime. The role of civil society. There is a need to involve members of civil society in security management. They play the roles of critics, catalysts, and advocates. They raise the public awareness of the excesses of the security agencies, human rights abuses, and most times engage and hold governments and stakeholders to account. The role of religious groups. Time has come for adherents of our main religions to deliberately ensure religious harmony and peaceful coexistence, without which insecurity will continue to ravage the land. The role of communities. The community is where most Nigerians reside, and crime must be fought at this level if we are to achieve success. Traditional rulers and our old and time-tested security mechanisms must be activated at the community level. To this extent, many state governments have passed legislation requiring landlords and various community associations to adopt the know thy neighbor policies. This ensures that any new stranger that enters a community is tracked and monitored. The role of the media. The media has a critical role to play in sensitizing and mobilizing Nigerians against insurgents, terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements. While carrying out its constitutional duty, it must avoid sensationalism, thoroughly check its facts, and put the interests of the people and the country first. The security agencies must strategically engage the media, make information available to them, and take them into confidence when the need arises to keep some information under wraps for security reasons. The media is made up of some of the most patriotic Nigerians. There is therefore no reason for mutual suspicion and distrust between the media and the security agencies. The role of youth. Nigerian youth must step forward to be counted in the fight against insurgency, terrorism, kidnapping, banditry, and other forms of criminality. Nigerian youth cannot give up on our country. It is your country. We must seize the moment and work assiduously to rescue the country. Criminals are weathering the crisis of food insecurity. atmosphere of fear pervades the land. Parents are now afraid of sending their children to school due to the activities of kidnappers and abductors. Our school children remain at the mercy of these merciless criminals. This is unacceptable. Youth and social organizations must mobilize youth to reject and isolate criminal elements in Nigerian communities. Nigerian youth must form vigilance and defend groups in their communities to checkmate criminals. They can assist security agencies with actionable intelligence. Nigerian youth must mount sustained campaigns for the massive development of youth in the armed forces and military organizations, and the development of security programs for the federal government and state governments and local governments must strategically integrate the full development will shift the against terrorism, insurgency, and military. out the constitutional questions involved. But before we reach there, states can, through creative administrative engineering, play a decisive role in the security of life and property in their various states. Many states have set up neighborhood watch agencies like neighborhood watch agencies, forest guards, vigilante services, motor group, ISBA, and others like agencies to meet the security needs based on grassroots or community-based policies. The current initiative of the Nigerian Police Force on community policies should be strengthened. Measures taken by Sokoto State government to arrest the menace of banditry. Sokoto State is one of the states in the country battling to resolve its security challenges. Bandits for some time have been laying siege to the eastern part of the state, and there have been also occasional attacks on areas close to Zamfara State. The state government has adopted different strategies and measures in tackling the menace of banditry and other forms of criminality in Sokoto State. In response to an inquiry by the Daily Trust newspaper, I disclosed that Sokoto State government is committed to the implementation of the resolution of Northern Government. Situation. I am bound by the decision of Northern State Governors Forum that we should use characteristic approach in tackling the menace of banditry in the region. By this token, it means we could support the deployment of forces where necessary from time to time, pursue negotiations where applicable. We talk about negotiation where applicable because it's also a global goal. We all know that we don't end wars of insurgencies on the field. We must go back to the negotiation table. The state government has been providing funding and logistics, such as vehicles, motorcycles, equipment, and other operational support to federal security agencies. The state government has also taken steps to develop and build a synergy between the local communities and federal security agencies. The state government recently set up a committee to tackle security challenges in Sokoto State. The committee is held by His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, who incidentally is a retired but not tired Brigadier General. Due to the prevailing insecurity in the state, ailing by armed banditry, which has led to huge loss of life and property, undermining free movement of people, goods, and services in the affected areas, I approved executive order in response to the situation. This is an exercise of the powers conferred on me by subsection 2 of section 176 of the Constitution through the order to be non-irritated containment order in Sokoto State, which order took effect from the 1st September 2021. The order also, of course, includes measures such as prohibiting playing firewood city, control of transport laws in certain local government areas of the state, carrying prohibition of carrying motorbikes, prohibition of PMGs, mission guns, through 27 rounds of ammunition. This first reconciliation effort by the state government was handled by then the chairman of the government. But there were subsequent reconciliation efforts which led to the surrender of weapons by bandits. However, some of the bandits violated the terms of peace agreements and returned to their territorial state government. Had no option to disrupt the local security outfits carrying out and continues carrying out different operations, including special operations against banditry, joint operations on kidnapping, air operations against banditry and terrorism, operations Papa by the police, clearance operations by across the state by destroying so many camps of bandits, metro night patrols, operation sweep all bandits routes, operation free Sokolo East from senseless killings, joint operations against gun runners and border security patrol, and operational efficiency of the federal security agencies in the fight against banditry. The state government has provided the following: over 500 vehicles, different brands, about 765 motorcycles, information drones, 132,000 units of security forces, oil and maintenance of all security forces, equipment and operations, operational allowance to all personnel engaged in operations, welfare packages to all personnel who lost their lives in active service, to the families of personnel who lost their lives in active service, relation to the list of careers, security matters, which is settled with responsibility for all security retired colonel execution. So the government has been playing a key role in the holding of high-powered security summits between the states of Niger Republic and those of the northwestern states to find lasting solutions to the perennial problem of insecurity that has occasioned the displacement of Nigerians to the area in Niger Republic. Strengthening the criminal justice structures to check the menace of terrorism and banditry, to check the menace of security and banditry, to effectively counter terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality. Governments need to enhance the legal and operational frameworks to strengthen the criminal justice structures. I recommend the following: we need to develop and implement a national plan of action to address criminal justice challenges in Nigeria. We have in place a criminal association of proceeds as real speak. The confidence of our people in the system is daily being eroded. Since the problem of implementation, stakeholders must come together. Since the problem is implementation, stakeholders must come together to agree on how to move forward. The prosecuting authorities, too, must review their approach to prosecuting terrorism, insurgency, and banditry suspects. We must transit from confession-based to evidence-based prosecution cases. The federal government must develop a clear approach to the apprehension and integrating affected terrorists and bandits into society. The present carries the anger of victims. Banditry have been openly coddled while no scheme or program is in place for their victims. It's an open invitation to trouble. Victims are entitled to rehabilitation. They want justice. They want closure. People must be held accountable for their actions. Legislation Commission is thereby recommended that the capacity of criminal justice and law enforcement officials to combat terrorism, banditry, insurgency, and other criminality. They must be conversant with the relevant laws. We must develop specialized national capacity for the investigation and prosecution of terrorism cases. Terrorism financing is a major issue that needs to be addressed through the instrumentality of the law. We must review the existing legislation on terrorism financing and look at the possibility of strengthening it. Permit me to reproduce the following findings. Institute for Security Studies offered by Alagangari and Ekinola Olojo. The key findings and recommendations contained in the report entitled "Besieged but not Relenting: Ensuring Fair Trial for Nigeria's Terrorism Suspects," which are dealing with thousands of suspect terrorism offenses. As such, fair trials were not held. 2. Not enough time was given to the 3 phases of mass trials with thousands of suspects to ensure full investigation. This was compounded by the challenge of having to review thousands of files linked to each other, to each terror suspect, and procedural handicaps later to arrest and detention procedures. Most arrests were by security forces in contravention of suspects' rights, and suspects are detained for unduly prolonged periods. 3. Numerous military personnel who conducted arrests in the northeast were deployed to other parts of the country and thus were no longer available for the criminal process. 4. Prosecutors had insufficient time to present comprehensive cases against suspects, and legal defense through the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria was insufficiently soft. 5 nearby all cases reflected a weak evidence base, mostly confessional statements. 6. Witness protection was lacking. 7. Numerous discharged detainees and convicts who have served their sentences remain in detention, but the Nigerian Correctional Service has little or no role in their rehabilitation and the integration of terrorism offenders pupils. 8. Nigeria's government hasn't instituted reparation measures for victims of damages to those wrongly or unduly detained with their participation in suspected participation in terrorism offenses. 9. Trials have endured poor court infrastructure and logistical challenges. Recommendations. 1. Continuous knowledge and technical capacity building are needed for prosecutors, investigators, and other law enforcement personnel. 2. The military needs special training for mainstream in human rights into its operations and its contribution to criminal justice response to terrorism. Designated military officers should collaborate and cooperate with civilian law enforcement to help with effective arrest of suspects for criminal justice process purposes, including the collection and use of evidence in court. 3. Insufficient time is needed for terror trials to enable investigation to be conducted and permit prosecutors and judges to perform their functions while respecting suspect rights. 4. Trials should be conducted on strong evidence base, going beyond confessional statement. Witness protection should be provided. This has always been a problem also around here, when witnesses complain lack of protection and they are being exposed to the criminals. 5. Conducive infrastructure are needed for trials, including efficient intercepts in cases where suspects can't communicate and defend themselves. 6. Children's court should be established to try juvenile offenders so that justice is served in all matters regardless of age, in line with the Child Rights Act 2003. 7. Judicial authorities should ensure that suspects are detained beyond the legally stipulated period. 8. Legislative reform around terrorism is needed to address the challenges for investigating, prosecuting, and adjudicating terrorism offenses. 9. Due to the multiplicity of issues required for a holistic response to terrorism in Nigeria, a multidisciplinary approach is required. Conclusion. It is my submission that Nigerians can still unite for the common good. Nigeria is a nation of boundless opportunities and possibilities. Let us push harder and draw on our reservoir of energy. We have the human resources to make things happen. All our people need is enabling environment to realize their potential. We must build the searchlight on people exploiting our front lines for their selfish ends. We must address the new grievances across the country and give every section a sense of belonging. We must build a country where no man or woman or group or section is oppressed. I challenge my learned colleagues to rise up and be in the front of the battle to pull back their country from the brink. You have the knowledge and the power to defend the judiciary against forces of integration. You must use your power to check the excess of conflict, entrepreneurship, manipulation of our people and state communities that are African communities require. Time has come for us to reject their bad beliefs in order to save our country from going down. You have what it takes to effectively mobilize Nigerians to defend democracy. You cannot afford to remain aloof in the face of state threats. Foundation standing up to be counted. I urge you not to relent in your efforts. You must sustain this initiative. Yes, we can re-engineer and build our country through law. If every professional group or association contributes its quota towards national demand, this country will take its place in the Committee of Nations. It takes hard work, sacrifices, perseverance, and shared dreams. It is a collective effort. We can do it. We must do it. Nigeria shall be great again. I thank you, and God bless you. My dear brother, Mr. President, thank you very much for this opportunity. I give my special thanks to the Rule of Law Development Foundation for the honor of being your keynote speaker this morning. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Technical, can we zoom back to Sokoto, please? I don't know if His Excellency is still listening. We wish to thank him for that intellectual, erudite, and practical keynote address. This is the first time I have heard from the executive political sphere a total package on how to eliminate banditry, insurgency, and other security hazards in Nigeria. Please join me in giving His Excellency another round of applause. I do hope, Your Excellency, that you will forward us with a copy of this paper as soon as possible so that we can incisively consider those issues that you have raised. I understand that we have it to bring. Finally, there is one more task that I will beseech Your Excellency to carry out for us, which is simply to declare the conference open.
Annual Criminal Law Review Conference of the Rule of Law Development Foundation open to the glory of God and benefit of Nigeria and humanity. Thank you.
Excellency, very much. Yeah, the formidable national duty so that you have a very ahead of you. Thank you very much, and God bless your day.
Gentlemen, let us give His Excellency a sound round of applause. That was an intellectually stimulating keynote speech, and we expect no less from the former National High School of the NBA, a former legislator, now an executive, and a member of the Body of Benches. So he spoke from various facets of experience. Permit me now to move to the next aspect of our paper, which was stepped down, which is the welcome address by the coordinator of the Rule of Law Development Foundation, Mr. J.B. Dawo, Senior Doctor. Let us give him a round of applause.
May I, with respect, hinge the preface of this speech on the protocol earlier on ably set out by the Director of Conference Planning. But I must start by thanking His Excellency, the Governor of Sokoto State, who has just declared the conference open for a scintillating keynote address. Distinguished conferees, learned senior counsel here, my lords, especially my lords representing the various chief judges who are unavoidably absent because of other functions. I must inform you that at this point in time, there is a meeting of the body of benches with very sensitive agenda and very sensitive topics on the agenda currently holding. That's why we have asked the very able lieutenants to hold today. Shortly after my keynote, after my opening remarks, the MC will go through the list of those who deserve or need to be recognized at this function. I'll try and take my opening remarks very quickly. It's not long. Certainly not half as long as not even as long as the keynote speech, which deservedly needed to be long because of the solutions that were proffered to the multifarious problems facing Nigeria. And so please permit me to start by drawing attention to the fact that this is the 4th edition of the Rule of Law Development Foundation flagship event, the Nigerian Criminal Law Review Conference. And in our concept note, we set out what we sought to achieve, which is that the scope and purport of this discourse, as the heading goes, is to attempt a capture of the position of the Nigerian criminal law in a concise and succinct manner, so that it would be not only a handy but readily available material on basic, cogent, and relevant aspects of Nigerian criminal law to stakeholders like judges, magistrates, law teachers, law students, and most importantly, legal practitioners. After 4 years, we are glad as organizers to note that a strong interest has been kindled in the Nigerian legal community arising from and owing to the robust variant and indeed presentation style of our resource persons on the various areas of criminal justice in Nigeria. These areas include but are not limited to criminal law, procedure, evidence, electronic evidence, economic crimes, the role of the FCC and the ICPC and other crime-fighting agencies, forfeiture proceedings, cyber crimes, violence against women and children, all within the ambit of the Child Rights Act. We're also addressing the request to add a few more subject areas to the list above. This year, 2021, our Director of Conference Planning has introduced a new format to our presentation style. She posited, and rightly too, that the time has come to approach the review of the subject matter from the angle of case law, judgments delivered by superior appellate courts, that is Supreme Court and Court of Appeal, and new legislations introduced into our body of laws by the federal and state legislatures. This is not to say that we will not review judgments of the courts of first instance. We were anxious to even review the pension case judgments delivered by the Federal High Court, but unfortunately, because of the shortness of the time from which the judgment was delivered to now, we have not been able to obtain certified true copies. What does the foundation seek to achieve with its intervention program? One of what it seeks to achieve is the annual review and updates of the law, policy, and jurisprudence of the identified constituents of our criminal justice system. It is necessary to explain that every modern nation that professes the practice of democracy must have a functional justice delivery system. And a democratic nation is the rule of law. No nation can be considered functional or progressive if it is unable to provide justice through the courts in criminal, civil, and commercial causes and matters. Indeed, where there is a malfunction or lethargy in such a system, such society will sooner than later show the manifestations of a failed state. This space is not the forum for recasting or analyzing Nigeria's present travails, although no harm will be done in pointing to a few of them, such as insecurity, growing criminality in the nature of banditry, kidnapping, cyber crimes, robbery, occultic crimes, fraud, white-collar crimes, etc. Other grave maladies afflicting Nigeria include bad political governance or maladministration, galloping inflation, owing to low economic activity, and depression in the sad economy. It is actually a vicious circle because insecurity does not allow people to farm or travel, and therefore there is no circulation of prosperity. These ills have in the long run devastated the country and reduced the standard of living of our citizens. Consequently, there is always a link between the quality of justice delivery and the quality of life of the people. Over the years, the spotlight has been shed on three strands of criminal justice, to wit, the steps leading to the apprehension of the criminal, which include the exercise of police powers, forensic investigation, custody of awaiting trial persons, and other sectors associated with pre-trial matters. 2, the role of the courts in the determination of the guilt or otherwise of persons accused of committing an offense, and the institutions concerned therewith, and they include the courts, trial and appellate, the prosecuting agencies, and the defense counsel, including the legal aid counsel, and C, post-trial institutions, such as correctional centers and other holding locations for the incarceration and rehabilitation of convicted persons. In the past, we, that is the foundation, had discussed the availability and indeed efficacy of the various government institutions offering the foregoing related services, and have with respect concluded that they are operating below par or average. Suggestions had been made in the past requesting for the centralization of all federal prosecutions by creating a Federal Prosecution Service, FPS, to be the central agency for the prosecution of all federal offenses, be they customs, immigration, DSS, NDLEA, police, etc. Now, similar calls were also made to redesign and rebuilding of prison facilities in Nigeria so that we can move away from the decayed, dilapidated hovels that are currently masquerading as prisons. The message this year ought to concentrate on our court system, especially the magistrate and area court customary court system. These courts are summary jurisdiction courts that in truth should deal with, or at least take charge and adjudicate on at least 80% of all criminal cases going into the judicial system. To achieve this target, the quality of training of these personnel, and they include their supervisory personnel in the registry of the courts, of these summary trial courts, and the appointment process, of its other occupants needs serious review and reconsideration. The Foundation wishes to charge, albeit most respectfully, federal and state chief executives and their respective legislatures to increase the funding of the judiciary. This is because a well-funded judiciary has the capacity to generate revenue for the nation in these cash-strapped times by embracing reforms such as non-custodial sentence, the privatization of prisons, optimizing the efficacy and knowledge base of inmates of correctional centers, and other modern measures of administering correctional services. Knowledge is power. Just as knowledge is power, is raw power, so also can ignorance be blissful. It is also a famous axiom that there is no bigger clown than a person who does not know that he knows nothing. This is the 4th year of this series of conference on our criminal justice system. It usually runs for 5 days in the 3rd to 4th week of November every year. I'm saying it so that everybody will keep his diary open, God sparing our lives in the years to come. We cover all innovations that have occurred in the past 12 months in our criminal justice system, ranging from criminal law and procedure to evidence, white-collar crimes to human rights issues that are linked to the criminal justice system. Our resource persons are taken from our brightest and the best, from the bench, bar, academia, the Nigerian law school in particular, and they go to great intellectual lengths to research every single innovation and introduction of jurisprudential, legislative, and administrative material brought into the system in the past 12 months. These volunteers provide this service ex gratia, that is free of charge, and in the best and overall interest of the improvement of our legal system, in the hope that it will have a positive, reverberating effect on our society. However, the level of interest shown by stakeholders and leaders of the profession in this one-week activity is not satisfactory. This year, we have made up our minds to send the CDs of the week-long proceedings and communicate to the heads of courts, commencing with the Honorable Chief Justice of Nigeria, the President of the Court of Appeal, Chief Judges of the Federal High Court and High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, President of the National Industrial Court, and the Chief Judges of the 36 states of Nigeria. For them, should they have the time to view it in order to have a global view, this foundation in this area of training and continuing legal education. It is hoped that there will be greater enthusiasm and encouragement for the future editions to come, God Almighty willing and permitting. It is perplexing that decision makers would prefer to spend valuable foreign exchange and diminishing revenue to sponsor their personnel abroad for expensive courses that most times have no relevance to the business of their courts. We are not asking for patronage or begging for it. Only a plea that our decision makers look inward and appreciate the need to ingrain their personnel with the mastery of our domestic laws and jurisprudence in both practical and theoretical dimensions. Conclusion. The year 2021 has not been without its challenges, the greatest of which has been thrust upon Nigerians by the unknown bandits. This band of marauders have visited mayhem and anarchy on several states in the northern part of the Federation. And you can see its importance from the fact that entirely the speech of the opening, the keynote speech was devoted to solving Nigeria's security problems. Most unnatural and appalling is the needless execution, killings of scores of defenseless citizens who are already pauperized and who are just merely going about their daily business, waiting on God Almighty for their daily fare. The perpetrators of this carnage and other crimes like kidnapping, which are easily, or cattle rustling and the rest of them, which are easily crimes against humanity, do not take refuge for their actions in any religious belief. They cannot therefore be mightier than state apparatus put in place to tackle this kind of eventuality, especially except, of course, there is a fundamental problem in our security architecture. I must not be misunderstood to be saying that our military is not or are not trying its best. All the foundation is saying is that for the proclaimed giant of Africa, that great Nigeria is often referred to, the kind of damage being done to our nation is not evidence of such greatness. The foundation calls on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to make the safety and security of all Nigerians, without exception, a matter of immediate priority. All kidnapped children, some for as long as 7 years, should be rescued by our military forces, or visible efforts be seen to be made in that direction. Again, for well-meaning citizens who may have access to these groups, now is the time to use their access positively and in a God-fearing manner, by persuading them to show respect for lives that they cannot create and which belongs to the Almighty alone to create or take. Their friends should tell them, and we know they are friends, that these nonsensical mayhem will not continue forever. It will soon be brought to an abrupt end by the Creator of all mankind. And everyone who is involved, one way or the other, in this perdition will, in the words of the psalmist in chapter 75, face the punishment described therein. And their end will be like that of the wicked man in Psalm 37, 35 to 36. Thus, I have seen a wicked man overbearing and towering like a cedar of Lebanon. Again I passed by, and lo, he was no more. Though I sought him, he could not be found. End of school. I need not emphasize that the wicked man, in retrospect, are those who by commission or omission are involved in this crime against humanity. In conclusion, I enjoin all conferees not only to have a splendid time engaging in this intellectual colloquium, but to have at the back of their minds that the COVID-19 pandemic is still very much with us. And as such, for those that will be attending from our humble premises, to ensure that they follow all the COVID-19 protocols put in place. For those attending virtually, and there are hundreds of them, I wish you a very interesting session. To the resource persons who have spent the past 1 year writing their papers on the various updates in their spheres of specialization in this vast area of the law, I salute you all and wish you the best of health as you continue to be of service to our noble profession, Nigeria and humanity at large. Finally, to our constant participants, the delegations from Rivers, Delta, Ogun, Bayelsa, and Kogi states. Next year we'll acknowledge those who are just coming for the first time this year. The foundation acknowledges your support and hopes that the knowledge acquired will be put to the optimum use in your respective states. Finally, to our sponsors, including our conferees, whose the fees you pay go a long way to enabling this conference to hold. Now we're on live broadcast. We say thank you and God bless. To our goodwill speakers who will speak following this welcome address, we also say thank you. Our keynote speaker, we say thank you to. I have described you as a man of impeccable credentials and an indefatigable and enigmatic person. And you will agree with me that coming after last year's keynote speaker, the irrepressive Nyesom Wike government of Rivers State, that we have maintained the standard and quality of our keynote speakers. So I thank you very much for listening to me. The conference has been declared open. I hand over to the MC, who will call in an order our goodwill messages from our VIPs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let us give the coordinator a resounding round of applause. As I say each and every year, his welcome address can easily pass for the keynote speech. Coordinator, we appreciate you. I want to apologize to all our distinguished conferees for not running through the list of special guests. As you can see, the keynote speaker is pressed for time, and we had to permit me to honor to those taking time to be with us today. As you've already seen, our special guest of honor today was His Excellency Right Honorable Aminu Waziri Tamwal, CFR. Let us give him a round of applause. And in the room with us, we have retired Honorable Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Moshood Oredola.
And she also sent me to the pharmacist to get some more. And trust your brother now. I got the exact same pills.
We have the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Honorable Justice John Soho, who is ably represented by one of our own, Justice Taiwo Abayomi Taiwo. He's also a former Vice President of the NBA. We have also with us, all the way from Bayelsa State, the Honorable Chief Judge of Bayelsa State, who is no other person than Honorable Justice Kate Abiri, who is honorably represented by Honorable Justice I. Eradin, all the way from Bayelsa. My Lord, you are very welcome. Amongst those that will be giving us goodwill message, we have Senator Dr. Gabriel Suswan, who is ably represented by one of our Bule SAN. Then we also have with us the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, who has expressed his apologies and has asked the Chairman NBA Buhari branch, Monday Ajay, to represent him in the goodwill message. Mr. Ajay is here. We also have on the lineup of goodwill speakers, we have Chief Joe Kari Gazama, OFR SAN, who is a principal partner in JK Gazama LLP, a senior lawyer of repute. We also have with us online the YC Mekyo. I'm sure he will link up with us. Then notably in the room, we also have ATK Inde, senior advocate of Nigeria, in the room. We have Elisha Kura, SAN. I also have with us DC Ewelum, senior advocate of Nigeria, as one of our resource persons. We have Ibrahim Edima, former General Secretary of the Nigerian Bar Association. I think he just stepped out. But we will be taking recognitions as they come. So permit me at this stage to invite Honorable Justice Taiwo, who is representing the CJ of the Federal High Court, to give his goodwill message. My Lord, you are welcome.
Permit me to stand on existing protocol, which was actually established in my absence. I'm so for coming late. Joy to be in the midst of men of timber and caliber. Let me say that, because I've known the coordinator of this foundation for years. We've always been together in the MBA affairs. Prize that is on a justice system, which I believe is the best, because without a functional criminal justice system, you can't have a vibrant civil society. Even the society will not be at peace if the criminal justice system is not functioning. I bring the goodwill message from the Honorable Chief Judge of Federal High Court, Honorable Justice Soho. He has asked me to represent him this morning, and he sends his greetings to everybody and wish the meeting a successful outing. For me, there are two issues that I see that I think need to be addressed, and that is the investigation of crimes in Nigeria. So far, I've seen that most of these investigations are shoddy, very shoddy, to the extent that if we have to face it, everybody will be going free, especially when it comes to the issue of evidence, especially and more importantly, statements taken. I've seen a lot of lacuna in statement taking of alleged offenders. And of course, another one that bothers me is the issue of compensation for those who have been wrongly incarcerated. And I say this, when you look at some of our laws, like the cybercrime, yes, there was a particular case of a guy who posted a new picture of his girlfriend on Facebook because the girl said she was tired of the relationship. It was a case I handled in Ekiti. Yes, the man was convicted and I fined him because the law says imprisonment and to drive home the point, I gave him the 2. But one thing that I found missing was the fact that throughout the law, there was no compensation for the victim. So the lady just walked away without anything. Meanwhile, our pictures were all over. In fact, the picture was displayed in the market square in one of the states in one of the towns in Ekiti. I think we should look at this. Like I said, we need a very vibrant criminal justice system for this country to grow. And of course, the rule of law, which is the foundation of every civilized society, is something that one cannot overemphasize. Thank you very much for inviting us, and I wish you a very pleasant celebration.
My Lord, thank you very much. And please send the regards of the foundation to the Honorable Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. You play a very important role in the administration of criminal justice throughout the entire country. Now at this stage, permit me to welcome all the way from Bayelsa State, the representative of the Chief Judge of Bayelsa State, who is no other person than Honorable Justice I. Eradin, to give his goodwill message all the way from Bayelsa. My Lord, you are very welcome. Let's give him a round of applause. It's not easy. Although I hear, my Lord, you have an airport now. International airport. Most grateful.
Thank you. I also wish to stand on the existing protocol. This goodwill message is from the Chief Judge of Bayelsa State, who had actually planned to be here physically, but due to other pressing engagements today could not make it. However, she has joined us. She informed me that she will be joining us in the conference virtually. I therefore send our apologies. The theme of the conference, judicial update and legislative development in criminal law, criminal procedure, criminal policy, and evidence, is quite all-encompassing. There is always the need to rub minds and update one's knowledge in recent developments, generally in law, specifically in the criminal law and practice, which is a central focus of this conference. It is hoped that the discussions here will assist endeavors at improving our legal system, enhance legal practice, and aid the smooth and quick dispensation of criminal justice. For me, one area that bothers me is that of obtaining confessional statements from suspects. Now, this problem is often results from the unprofessional practices of police officers most times. And when a court, at the end of the trial, within trial, discovers that a confessional statement was indeed obtained improperly and it is excluded, the question is, what happens to the police officers that were responsible for this and putting the court through the rigors of trial within trial, which causes much delay? So this is an area I would want this conference to also look at and then see how this can be stopped, because I have not heard, at least in civilized climes, that suspects are beaten black and blue, hanged on the fan, on the ceiling, tortured, and then in order to extract a confessional statement. And then at the end of the day, nothing happens. Because if you want to solve a problem, you have to go to the roots of that problem, solve it from the roots of that problem. So I think we can also look into that area, because it really occasions a lot of delay in criminal trials. So on behalf of the Chief Judge of Bayelsa State, the Honorable Justice Kate Abiri, CON, I wish all conferees a very fruitful deliberation. Thank you and God bless you.
My Lord, thank you very much for those kind words and those thought-provoking words of goodwill. And we hope we can continue to partner together to ensure that the administration of criminal justice is better for all. Let's give my Lord a round of applause. Now, permit me to call on a renowned and very senior lawyer, Chief Joe Kairi Gazama, OFR Senior Advocate, Principal Partner of JK Gazama LLP, to give his own goodwill message. Lenesi, you are welcome, and we look forward to hearing from you. And let us permit us to say from the Rule of Law Development Foundation, happy birthday.
Well, His Excellency Alhaji Aminu Waziri Tambuwa, the Executive Governor of Sokoto State, who has been with us virtually, the Coordinator of Rule of Law Development Foundation, no less a person than our own brother and leader, Mr. J.B. Daudu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. My lords, the various chief judges of various jurisdictions ably represented by my lords here present, learned senior advocates of Nigeria, senior lawyers, young ones at the bar, members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm. It's my honor to be upstanding before this August gathering, although we have long passed the month of August. We are now close to the end of the year. This is my first time of attending the conference. Before now, I've been reading about it. Whatever communique was issued, I read, and I've always been enjoying the publications. Well, I represent my humble self, my firm, J.K. Gazama LLP, my staff, GCAM, which is Canada International Arbitration and Mediation Platform, as well as Vox Populi Foundation for Good Leadership, which I chair. Our brother and the coordinator, you can never be wrong on what you are doing. I want to appreciate you. Why am I saying so? If you look at the Nigerian Bar Association Constitution and sum up the principal objectives, you will find that rule of law is the main objective of containing the Constitution. Going further, some of us who were in Singapore as far back as 2006 to attend the IBA conference, we asked the then Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, why did Singapore move from being a third world country to being a first world country without wasting time as a second world country, which has been the trend? You'll be there for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years as a second world country. The answer was that there were 3 reasons why Singapore is now a first world country. The first reason was because of strict adherence to rule of law. The second one was strict adherence to rule of law. The third one was strict adherence to rule of law. So that underscores the catchphrase you have adopted. And coming down the ladder, talking about criminal justice law, you can't go wrong with that one as well. I have even gone beyond my goodwill message. I have sent my contribution this morning by email to the organizers, and I believe they will print and circulate as time goes on. I have been able to even dwell on 2 major areas. The Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Lagos State, which was passed as far back as 2007, and then amended in 2011, even before the act was passed in 2015. You can see that Lagos has been in the forefront. So I've looked at a number of, in fact, it has just amended. Lagos State has just amended, further amended, on the 30th of September 2021, and came out with some innovations, respect for and dignity for the suspect, protection of witnesses, and so on and so forth. Then the second aspect which I looked at in a major contribution, it's the proposal by the Center for Social-Legal Studies, being headed by my good friend and brother and classmate, Professor Akinseye George. I've looked at the 110 proposals they made, and I touched about 10, 15 of them in my contribution. And I'm impressed with the suggestion that there must be investigation or completeness of it before even arrest. This is what is obtainable in most other jurisdictions. Why do you arrest somebody and begin to investigate? Investigate. If there's the need to arrest and even detain that person, but within the ambit of the law, I mean, not as long as they always do, that is fine. I'm encouraged by that, and that should be the case. And that should be inserted in our laws, especially when we consider another review or amendment. Then the second area that impresses me is the idea of having another judge to continue where an earlier judge has stopped. Each time there was a trial, you go back to novo, the trial takes 10, 15, 20 years, and deliberately at times someone can be transferred. You never can tell. We're all human beings. Everyone is a human being, including the president of the country, let alone the chief judge of a state, and so on and so forth. So that is a very good recommendation. And let me also remind us, before I take my seat, that there is need to have electronic, not just filing, record of proceedings. Because, for example, if there is a trial and there is conclusion on that trial, at the say High Court, for example, or Federal High Court, and there is need to go on appeal, you don't need to go and bother anybody. Once you file a notice of appeal and you pay electronically, the record automatically moves to the next level. And at the Court of Appeal, if there's an appeal to the Supreme Court, the record automatically moves. You don't need to beg anyone. It moves electronically to the Supreme Court. This is what is being done in most other jurisdictions, but we are far, far behind. Well, it is better to be late than to be delayed. And God's time is not only the best, but it's the only time. If we can hurriedly get these proposals put across to those in charge of the amendment, and they carry all those proposals along, I think that would be good. So I join all other well-wishers who have spoken before me and those spoken after me to commend the organizers, the coordinator, the participants, those who have been faithful to this project in the last 4 years, and some of us are now being carried on board. We are also joining you, and we must continue to give it a push so that this country can be a better place for everyone. Rule of law is what we need, irrespective of all these centrifugal factors of tribalism, religiosity, or social status, gender, chauvinism, etc., etc., regional background, and what have you. Rule of law is what we need to guide us. You know, you don't change the goalpost when somebody's about to score. Apply rule of law. If he deserves praise, give him praise. If he deserves punishment, give him the punishment. And that is what J.B. Daudu stands for. Some of us know him for that. They say the test of the pudding is in the eating. God bless all of you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Leonard Silk, let us give him another round of applause. Despite your huge activities, your birthday celebration, and the body of benchers meeting, which I know you have a key role to play, you decided to be with us in person. We really appreciate you, Leonard Silk. Let us give him another round of applause. And we appreciate that you need to take your leave to attend to other matters. Now, permit me to test our online facilities again. And we have with us all the way in Kebbi, YC McKeown, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Fellow Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, and a Principal Partner of YC McKeown and Co. Technical, can we get Mr. McKeown online for us to deliver his goodwill message? Okay, I should delay it. Okay, let me call the next goodwill speaker, who is no other person than Senator Dr. Gabriel Suswan, CON, PhD, one of our supporters of the foundation. He is here represented by no other person than Paul Harris Obole, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who, if some of us don't know, was his partner in chambers. So, Leonard Silk, you're very much welcome. I will look forward to hearing from you.
Respectfully, I'd like to stand on the existing protocol, severally well established. The organizer and coordinator of this very, very important conference, J.B. Daudu SAN, my boss. And permit me also to acknowledge my lords, the chief judges of states that are here, as well as their representatives, Justice Taiwo and the rest. Like I said, I'll stand on the existing protocol. I stand holding forth for my friend and partner, Gabriel Suswan. He is unavoidably absent. This morning he had to leave for Port Harcourt for a function, an official function from the Senate. And he called me last night that I should stand in for him to express his goodwill message. Ordinarily, I was already prepared to be here for Thursday when I have my own presentation. Senator Gabriel Suswan wishes J.B. Daudu and the Rule of Law Foundation the most sincere compliments. He acknowledges and appreciates the doggedness with which the coordinator has practiced and traversed the entire gamut of law with speciality amongst specialities in the criminal justice sector. He acknowledges the choice of the foundation, the name of the foundation, which is Rule of Law Foundation, and the central position rule of law occupies in democracy, good governance, justice, and indeed criminal justice. He appreciates the doggedness with which the convener, the coordinator, has passionately followed this program from year to year, and it has continued to grow in leaps and bounds. He also welcomes and appreciates all those who have attended this program through the years, and those who are even here today. He was thinking that he will be here to also join his friend and colleague, the governor of Sokoto State, who made a presentation earlier, and he wishes him so well. He had no doubt that about the quality of presentation that would come from His Excellency the Governor of Sokoto State. He prays that you all enjoy the conference. He trusts for a robust input and deliberations at the program, and also wishes that all those who are online will be able to have the most benefit of the program. And indeed, he wishes that at the end of the program, the communique would be released and circulated sufficiently so that lawyers in the justice sector reform with success comes greater success and comes greater challenges. Do not relent. Continue and then continue to continue. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Leonard Silk. Please send the distinguished senator our warmest regards. He is indeed one of us. So I don't know if technically we have been able to resolve the issue, and can we connect online to Kebi now to talk to one of our goodwill speakers, Mr. YC Mekel. Mr. Mekel, can you hear me? of the Rule of Law Development Foundation, I know you would have wished to be here. We wish you all the best as you continue with the necessary burial rites. And finally, one of our very key collaborators of the Rule of Law Development Foundation is our parent body, the Nigerian Bar Association. You will agree with me, our distinguished audience, that it is important we also hear from the NBA. And the NBA president has sent a representative in the person of the chairman of NBA Buhari branch. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, on behalf of the NBA, let us have your goodwill message, sir. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Come this way. Yes, Mr. Monday Ajay, Chairman Buhari branch. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
May I, with your kind permission, my noble Lord, stand on the existing protocol for want of time. I bring goodwill message from the President, Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olumide Akpata, who personally will have been here for sake of national commitment, which we are all aware. There is this ongoing body of benchers meeting, which he has to be part due to the nature of the meeting for today. So he has asked me to apologize for his absence, and also asked me to state as follows: that the activities of this foundation is part of the agenda of Nigerian Bar Association, and as such, the NBA as an organization wish to support in actualizing the goals, vision, and mission of this particular foundation, and also wish to state that the foundation has been in the front runner in shaping the scope of our criminal jurisprudence in Nigeria. And this particular program that we are having today could not have been better been placed than today, considering the nature and the situation we find ourselves as a nation, particularly in the area of security and criminal jurisprudence that is going down and causing a lot of havoc, even in the midst of committee of states in the whole world. And there could not be a better time than today for us to address some of the issues that are facing us as a nation. And he has equally asked me to also state that the caption of this year's event is also useful in the sense that any society that is not ready to update its system will eventually be out of place. So he has asked me to state that the theme for this year is so important, at least to keep every stakeholder abreast with the facts of what is happening in our judicial system and criminal procedural law and the policy as well. And he also asked me to state, as part of his suggestion, in the area of delay of our criminal justice system, which we are all used to, that's the area of trial within trial. According to him, he said he will suggest to this great gathering that instead of wasting our precious time in attending to trial within trial that takes even much time than the trial proper, that is it not better for us to incorporate trial within trial into the total hearing of the suit, so that at the tail end, the judge or the magistrate or whoever is presiding will have the ample opportunity to pronounce on same, rather than taking this much time, which some of our colleagues are now using as a delay tactics to further delay the course of justice. That is just like the issue of jurisdiction. Once issue of jurisdiction is raised, at times the court will take the option of delivering ruling on that same issue of jurisdiction at the end of the whole trial. That we should also adopt that same method, that all parties should put in their evidence or what they have towards their case against the trial within trial, so that at the tail end, when the judgment is being delivered, the judge will have the opportunity of pronouncing on that before going to the merit of the case. That will serve as a means to also reduce the delay in our criminal system. So he has asked me to state that all what we are doing here are also part of Nigerian Bar Association agenda, and the NBA as a whole and as a parent body is always ready and willing to collaborate with this foundation to achieve its goal in all areas as far as the issue of criminal jurisprudence is concerned in Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Nigerian Bar Association. We hope that we shall continue to collaborate in the interest of justice. While the NBA president was delivering his keynote, his goodwill message, the representative of the president of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria walked in, and unfortunately for my lord, you are the last keynote, the last goodwill message to be delivered. I know you have just come in, but I know you are up to the task. So please permit me welcoming Honorable Justice Anuwe to give the keynote, the goodwill message on behalf of the President of the National Industrial Court. My lord, you are welcome.
My lords, our big brother, J.B. Daudu, SAN, Leonard Silks, present, and other protocols duly observed. I bring greetings from the President of the National Industrial Court, who has asked me to represent him in this yearly event. We were here last year. It was very fulfilling and very rewarding for us, and we know that this time we'll get yet again more enriched even as we go along. My Lord, the President has asked me to tender his apologies for not being able to come for this event due to other exigencies. And he has asked me to send his goodwill message, his greetings, which entails his greetings and his support always for this program. The Rule of Law Development Foundation has become an integral part of the National Industrial Court and its other, and every other activity of this foundation is not lost on the National Industrial Court. Even though we have limited criminal jurisdiction, we gain a lot from here, which we apply to our very little area of criminal jurisdiction. We are very grateful to be carried along all the time when this program is going on. And we wish us all very fruitful deliberations, even as we go along. We're part of this program. I will remain here. Thank you very much.
Lord, we are very grateful, and please send our kind regards to the President of the National Industrial Court. Hopefully, one day, the President himself will join us. Please tell him he's missing a lot from me personally. At this stage, Director Conferencing, are we ready for the tea break? I know we live in a democratic institution. Do we adjourn for tea break, or do we go on to the next session? I want to put it to a voice vote. Since we have taken a lot of time. Even if it's a walking tea break. Okay. So this. Thank you. So, distinguished invited guests, at this point we will call for a recess, and the opening ceremony has come to a close. Please don't go very far. In the next 15 minutes, we'll commence with the next session, which is judicial updates and legislative developments in substantive, no, is it substantive? Yes, in criminal law. And we have also with us Honorable Justice Obano. Justice Obano, I know, is one of our resource persons, and I'm sure we'll hear from my Lord later on. So at this stage, we can have a tea break. We can also have photo shots, photo opportunity. It's an opportunity to also take pictures, go around, and network. That is what this event is for. So let us reconstitute in the next 15 minutes. Thank you, everybody, and God bless you. Photograph. At least our resource person should take a group photograph at the opening ceremony. Let's have a group photograph with all the resource persons. It's very important we take that group photograph. Yes. I think we can use behind this banner here. Let's see, please, you can join them. Let's have a group photograph. I hope our photographers are ready. We're set. Please, all resource persons. NBA. I understand that the office of YC Mikio and Co. are responsible for our tea break, and I'm sure it will be available soon. But if you don't see it within the next 15 minutes, don't worry, we will make it available during the lunch break.